water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
"30 years of joyfulness." Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM here in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com, also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via our various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petol, Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Coming up, former Deputy Executive Secretary of the National Service Authority set to present herself to the National Investigation Bureau as part of ongoing inquiries into the National Service scandal.
There are some who have gone into countries knowing that we do not have extradition agreements with them. They've gone there specifically to evade justice, but steps are being taken.
Well, we are live at the Kotoka International Airport as she arrives in the country. Also coming up this afternoon, debt of state-owned enterprises ballooned to more than 200 billion cedis, with Joy News research revealing that ECG, Cocoa Board and VRA continue to accumulate heavy losses. With details as Finance Minister pushes for urgent restructuring, insisting that nearly all SOEs are operating in the word.
Almost all state-owned enterprises are in the red. Almost all of them are in the red. From the Electricity Company of Ghana to the Agricultural Development Bank.
Also, government approves private sector participation in select operations of the Electricity Company of Ghana, as the Finance Minister condemns the unsustainable $1.3 billion spent annually to cover shortfalls in the sector.
If private sector involvement will bring efficiency and will reduce the cost for everybody, it is important we do this. Even when they are adjusting the tariff quarterly, the gap is even widening the more.
This afternoon, episode 2 of our Crumbling Start series takes you to Joanna Yili DA Basic School in the northern region, where young learners step into a classroom that could crumble at any moment, a fragile structure that stands more as a warning than a place of hope.
Actually, it's more or less a death trap. Because of that, when they break like this, we will convey the furniture to the mango trees, so that it is the mango trees that we always have our classes.
We'll engage the Ghana Education Service on this in sports.
Club Licensing Committee declares Baba Yara Stadium and 4 others unfit ahead of the Ghana Premier League resumption.
These and more with me, Maame Esi Nyamekye Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. And former Deputy Executive Secretary of the National Service Authority, Gifty Owari, is suspected to be arrested today over her alleged involvement in the National Service fraud. The scandal, which reportedly includes the insertion of ghost names on the National Service Authority payroll, is reportedly costing the state a staggering 50 million cedis each month. Over the weekend, the government announced an extradition process to bring a key suspect back to the country, following reports that some wanted individuals have fled to evade justice. Up next, we have Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, weighing in on the development.
Total the period that this has been going 50 million every month. So this is clear fraud that cannot be countenanced. Unfortunately, some of the people involved are said to have absconded. There are some who have gone into countries knowing that we do not have non-surrender agreements, extradition agreements with them. They've gone there specifically to evade justice, but steps are being taken to ensure that they are brought back. But at least 2 people have now been held, they've been questioned, and due process will take place. The basis upon which the Attorney General will go to court is the fact that he is convinced that there's wrong, otherwise he won't go and waste it. When you see the letter, you bring a letter for 180,000 people to be paid. And we are not talking about the beginning of national service. This is several months down the line. You cannot allege that, okay, you thought 180 people were at post, but they didn't show up. And then when you ask for a head count, you get almost half the figure.
Well, let's get more on this developing story. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me with more on this. Elton, what are we learning?
Remember that on February 22nd, Kwaku Ohene-Jan, known as Osonoba, was picked up by the National Intelligence Bureau to respond to some issues they are investigating regarding the National Service Authority scandal. Also, last week at the State of the Nation address, President John Mahama directed the National Investigation Bureau to immediately conduct an investigation into the operations of the National Service Authority following the discovery of 81,885 suspected ghost names on its payroll. The discrepancies were identified, according to government, after a head count of active National Service personnel initiated by the Minister for Finance as a prerequisite for clearing allowances arrears dating back to August 2024. Now, we are told by government that some other persons connected to this scandal are out of the country, and they are looking forward to get them back into the country, in the sound that we played from the Minister in charge of Government Communication. Now, according to the Minority Leader, Alexander Afenyomakim, a former deputy, executive director of the National Service Authority, Gifty Owari, is suspected in the country this afternoon. Indeed, he provides the airline as Emirates flight, which from our own tracking is expected to land at exactly 12:13 p.m. That is in the next 70 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And the Minority Leader, Alexander Afenyomakin, says that they will be at the airport to welcome her and then will escort her to the office of the National Investigation Bureau. If they have any questions for Gifty Owari, they will do so. And that she did not, she did not run away from the country. She was out on some kind of business or duties, and that she is expected in the country by the flying on the Emirates and expected to land exactly 12:13 p.m. We are also picking information that the National Intelligence Bureau are also at the airport, expected to arrest her and formally take her in for some question. This is the information we are picking. But for the Minority Leader, she did not run away. She's back in the country at exactly 12:13 p.m. They will be at the airport to escort her to the office of the NIB for her to answer any questions that they may have regarding the scandal around the National Service Authority. This is the information we are picking.
Right. Thank you so much, Elton. Well, let's head to the Kotoka International Airport, where my colleague Blessed Suga is, and let's get some updates there. Blessed, is there any activity ongoing at the airport yet?
Oh, well, not too much, but we're expecting that in the next few minutes. Of course, that's when all of the action possibly might happen because of disembarkation procedures, and that expected grand arrival of the former NS executive may have to be delayed a bit, also because of the security arrangements and the alerts that we're getting. You never know when it might be picked up, so that may also be done without the full coverage on camera. So we're just awaiting the leadership to assemble. Quite a number of people coming here, but you are not able to tell clearly as of now whether or not they're being mobilized by the NSP. So we wait to see what will happen in the next few minutes when that flight catches up. All
right, thank you so much, Blessed. So Joy News will definitely keep an eye on this developing situation and give you updates to our listeners. Now, state-owned enterprises are drowning in debt, crossing a staggering 200 billion cedis. Joy News researchers uncovered that key SOEs, including ECG, Cocoa Board, and VRA, continue to pile on heavy financial burdens with no clear path to recovery. At the National Economic Dialogue on Monday, Finance Minister Dr. Kesiala Tofosin did not mince words. He painted a dire picture of Ghana's SOEs, warning that almost all of them are bleeding financially. According to him, restructuring of key SOEs is needed.
SOEs and joint ventures company showing mounting operational and financial risk. Almost all state-owned enterprises are in the red. Almost all of them are in the red. From the Electricity Company of Ghana to the Agricultural Development Bank. Almost all of them are in the red. In fact, beginning from the year 2021, 2022, and 2023, you will see that Cocoa Board posed some profit of 2.2 billion in the year 2023. But Your Excellency, this is artificial profit. This profit is because they failed to service their debt because of the debt suspension. And so all the cocoa bills that were due at the time, they failed to pay because of debt suspension. Subsequently, this debt still exists, and so we will need to take action to restructure most of the state-owned enterprises.
Well, cutting down waste, deepening public partnership, and long-term structural reforms are some of the outcomes from the ongoing National Economic Dialogue ongoing at the Accra International Conference Center. This dialogue is to, among others, identify bottlenecks, staggering economic growth, and recommend solutions for implementation. On day one yesterday, speakers highlighted a gloomy picture of the economy. Let's listen to once again to Dr. Akesi Latofos in revealing how all state enterprises are in debt.
Almost all state-owned enterprises are in the red, from the Electricity Company of Ghana to the Agricultural Development Bank. We can't develop if we fail to generate resources internally. Ghana has not performed well in revenue mobilization compared to its peers. Ghana's domestic revenue mobilization has stagnated a decade and remained below our peers. Ghana collected 13.5% of GDP in revenue, tax revenue. Collection from other major taxes remain low, especially value-added tax, as compared to our peers. Numerous exemptions and complexity of tax system have a detrimental impact on revenue. Tax administration challenges also contribute to compliance gap. We need urgent reforms to rationalize our value-added tax regime. Currently, it has been distorted, and as a result, there is very little compliance.
Well, let's get more insight into the issue about SOEs bleeding, and join news lead data analyst and research analyst Isaac Kofi joins me in studio with more. Kofi, what more are we learning of this bleak fiscal outlook?
Well, Maame Esi, so we've been looking at the fiscal position of the SOEs, and if you look at 2023 reports, they made a cumulative loss of 216 billion Ghana cedis. We are projecting that, looking at the growth rate of this debt, it could hit some 250 billion if the 2024 report comes out. If you go deep and look at the SOEs, the top 6 that contribute to this $216 billion cedis debt, ECG is number 1. We understand the president gave an updated figure, but what's according to the public domain, or what's available in the public domain, is around 47.2 billion Ghana cedis. Cocoa Board 24.6 billion Ghana cedis, VRA 22.6 billion, GNPC 17 billion, and it goes on and on. Even CBG is around 12.4 billion Ghana cedis. The finance minister made mention of Cocoa Board making artificial loss.
Yes.
Because if you look at Cocoa Board, it's been making losses. It made a loss of close to 2.3 billion cedis in 2021. Now we are talking about 2.4 billion Ghana cedis in revenue. Well, so this is the position of the SOEs, Mami, at the moment.
What worries me is how government is actually going to offset this debt. But the IMF has also raised concerns about the fiscal portion of some 8 SOEs. Tell us more.
Now, according to the IMF, certain 8 SOEs are identified as being exposed to substantial fiscal risk. And here they are. Cocoa Board is number 1, ECG, VRA, Ghana Water, TOR, GNPC, Ghana National Gas Company, and BOS. So these are the 8 companies identified by the IMF.
Thank you so much, Kofi J. Now let's head over to the Accra International Conference Center and get updates of day 2 of this economic dialogue. James Ashen, what more can you report from day 2?
Well, so currently as we speak, the various sector players are being grouped into some 6 thematic sessions. One had to do with restoring macroeconomic stability, which also delve into fiscal sustainability, efficiency of public spending, monetary policy fixing, as well as one of the key issues that had to do with exchange rate stability. Also, the other had to do with the growth with the diversification, export competitiveness, productivity, technology, and human well-being. We also have the infrastructure development, structural policy reforms, private sector-led growth, and also restoring good governance and eliminating corruption. So these 6 thematic sessions have various key sector players in the delving to, get the lasting solutions to some of the challenges affecting this particular sectors of the economy. Later in the day, we understand the Vice President will also come in, and then we'll get to know more from her particular end.
Right, James, you've also been speaking to a member of the planning committee, Professor Gachi. What has he been telling you?
For Professor Gachi, he's been talking to us about how the committee is heavy on finding solutions to addressing the pressing issues affecting especially the energy sector and the rising debt within that particular sector. They also spoke about food inflation. We know for some time now food inflation has been driving our general inflation. They also spoke on the need to invest in agriculture. So one of the areas that was of concern to him was the issue of infrastructure development, especially looking at how successive governments have been abandoning projects. He says this is really affecting the fiscal space, hence the need for to demand for value for money. We can now listen to him.
Energy sector will cut across restoring macroeconomic stability, will come under private sector, will come under infrastructure. In fact, yesterday, those under structural reforms and policy reforms were frantically discussing what is the best approach for electricity tariff and what model can be used to salvage electricity company of Ghana and deliver efficient and then affordable energy to business people and to the residential people of Ghana. In fact, we tried to see if we could even create a whole session for energy, but as it is getting full attention under these thematic areas.
Yeah, abandoning projects is part of the indiscipline, fiscal indiscipline is a part of the wastage that we talk about. And the way we package programs and then projects is also a problem. All those things are coming under infrastructure discussion. For example, if you are talking about Agenda 111, you know how the agenda came to be. Yeah. We were told 88 first in 18 months. We didn't deliver. Then we said, Ghanaians, I'll give you more than 88. So that's how the whole thing came about. We didn't look at the way we should program it in phases to be able to complete and then start getting value for it. So we are now going to see a situation where value for projects will have to be placed ahead of project execution.
Professor John Gachi is a member of the Planning Committee of the Economic Dialogue ongoing at the Accra International Conference Center. Our government has approved private sector participation in select operations of the Electricity Company of Ghana as the Finance Ministry condemns the unsustainable $1.3 billion spent annually to cover shortfalls in the energy sector. The move is part of broader efforts to reduce financial losses and enhance efficiency in power distribution. By 2026, the projected cumulative shortfall in the energy sector is expected to exceed $9 billion, making it one of the biggest threats to Ghana's economic stability. Key challenges include high distribution losses, non-payment of bills, and poor cash management. Deputy Finance Minister Designate Thomas Ampem Nyako tells my colleague Elton Probe private sector participation is the only way out.
A lot of things are wrong with ECG. The losses are just too much. Apart from the losses, the inefficiencies in their operations is just mind-boggling. And the corruption, the procurement breaches. In fact, I heard the energy minister lamenting about an incident where $500,000 worth of goods were imported into the country by ECD. They failed to clear the goods, allow it to go to demurrage. Then it is auctioned for 100,000 cedis.
Yes.
Somebody buys it and turns around to sell it to the same ECG for $300,000.
According to the finance minister, ECG sells power and only able to recover 64% of the power sold. That's something.
That is why the energy minister has hinted that we must have private sector involvement in the operations of ECG. This cannot be described as selling ECG. No, we would not want to sell ECG. But if private sector involvement will bring efficiency and will reduce the cost for everybody, it is important we do this.
But is it what?
The previous administration started this quarterly adjustment of tariffs.
Right.
Quarterly adjustment. Even when they are adjusting the tariff quarterly, the gap is even widening the more. And look, we are spending about $1.3 billion to cover the shortfall in the energy sector. Do you know what $1.3 billion can do?
And you heard Thomas Ampem Nyako, Deputy Finance Minister Designate, in an interview with my colleague Elton Probe. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break and when we return in episode 2 of our Crumbling Start series, pupils of Joanayili DA Basic School risk their lives every day in the pursuit of education.
Actually, it's more or less a depth track. Because of that, when they dig like this, we will convey the furniture to the mango trees, so that it is the mango trees that we always have our classes.
Where did I? Now I don't know when you just saw. Obiang, what's the chrome ha? And to want to say Petol Sopper energizing dreams for motion. Hey boy.
Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you, oh.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
Welcome back to the Midday News. We have sports.
Yes, Maame Esi, so the Baba Yara Stadium, that's the home ground of Ashanti Kotoko, has been declared unfit to host matches due to an uneven playing surface and concerns over the security zone. The Legon Stadium, a temporary home for Hearts of Folk and Legon cities, has also been rejected due to similar issues. The other affected venues are Wenchi Sports Stadium, Ampenien Arena, and Brekum Golden City Park. Now, the club licensing committee has called for urgent fixes before Friday for reconsideration. The Premier League resumes on March 7. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mubarak. Now, pupils of John Ayili DA Basic School in the Nanumba North Municipality of the Northern Region risk their lives every day in quest to quench their thirst for education. Their school is a ticking time bomb, leaning dangerously with deep cracks on the verge of collapse. Emmanuel Jibenu has more in our latest education series, Crumbling Start.
Juan Nyanjele, a farming community in the Nanumba North Municipality of the Northern Region, is soaked in rain. It is 8 in the morning and the streets are still quiet. For the children of Juan Nyanjele, these rains are more than just natural occurrence. It is a barrier to their education. Juan Nyanjele DA Basic School, a 3-unit mud block that has long passed its prime. It leans precariously with deep cracks threatening to collapse at any moment. Yet, this fragile structure is where the foundation of the education begins or ends. There is nobody in sight, and it appears there will be no school today. However, in my quest to satisfy my curiosity, I entered one of the classrooms. There, I met these siblings.
What's your name?
My name is Pamba Dilam.
Who's that?
My name is Pickle Pamba.
Joseph and Pigri braved the rain, arriving drenched, hoping school day will still begin. Pigri, the youngest, is visibly shivering from the cold weather. Her brother could not look on, so he removed his wet shirt to cover his sister in an attempt to provide her with some warmth. But their determination meets despair. The rain keeps pouring, and the building offers little solace. It is a chilling irony. These children seek knowledge, yet their shelter could collapse at any moment. Unfortunately, the head teacher is miles away, sheltering from the rain like everyone else. So I decided to reach him on phone.
Am I talking to the head teacher?
Yes, the school building. It has a big crack. Actually, it's more or less a depth track. Because of that, when they dig like this, we will convey the furniture to the mango trees, so that it is the mango trees that we always have our classes for the sake of to save the children's life.
With permission from the head teacher, we take Joseph and Pigri home. These young ones are not just statistics, they are the future. How many more rainy days will pass before their cries for help are heard? Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Juan Nyanjele, Nanumba North Municipality, Northern Region.
Now, hundreds of residents in 2 communities in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region are still homeless and in deplorable conditions despite NADMO's assurances of relief for them. The communities of Agaveji and Salakope battered by the tides, with NADMO struggling to bring them to safety. Let's go on the phone lines now and speak to our correspondent Ivy Setoji for the very latest. Ivy, you spent the entire night yesterday with the residents. What is their condition?
Well, last night I left the community around midnight, and it's very bad to see residents of Agaveji and Salakope spend the night by the roadside in the open with no help aside. You know, we saw most of the residents with their families and little children sleeping on the floor, some on mattresses and some just on the mats, and then cloth on the floor for the children in the open with no mosquito net, nothing. And according to them, anytime the tides are high, they try their best to run away and get shelter somewhere. And some of them will have to just be walking along the road until it's morning. And children are also part of this situation. And the question is, how will children learn when these things happen? How will they be able to go to school the following morning? So the situation is really, really bad at Salakope and Agaveji, and they are asking authorities that aside the promises by government, aside the the items given to them, something urgent must be done. At least they should be provided with tents for the meantime, especially for those who cannot afford accommodation or who cannot have or go to families or put up with families. Some people are currently sleeping at the pre-mutual facility because they have nowhere to go. So, Maame said that is the current situation in Agaveji and Salakope.
Thank you so much, Ivy Setoji. Now, Ghana Meteorological Agency has warned of prolonged dry spells in northern Ghana, while southern Ghana is expected to experience intermittent rainfall, but maintaining normal rainfall pattern overall. Now, Deputy Director of Research and Applied Meteorology at GMET, Francisca Marti, speaking to Joy News at the launch of the Meteorological Awareness Month 2025, cautioned farmers to develop strategies for a successful crop season.
The forecast for the southern part of Ghana is out, and in the forecast we have predicted normal rainfall over the country at most places, but the northeastern part of the country we are expecting flash floods. Then the northwestern we are expecting normal to below normal rainfall. We are expecting dry spells again. We are expecting longer dry spells throughout most of the places of the south. Then the second dry spells, we are expecting the reduction from the transition zone to the forest zone.
Well, Menshia is the soul of Asanteman, a timeless symbol of power, tradition and prestige. Nestled in the heart of Kumasi, it is more than a town. It is the throne of Ashanti royalty. As part of our Ghana Man series, Irabna Akwe unravels the mystery behind the name and explores the rich traditions of the Akwesidai festival.
The town is home to the Menshia Palace, the seat of the Asante monarch, the Asante Hene. The palace harbors the identity, rich culture, and fascinating history of the Asantes. Monarchical historian Osebo Nsusafo Kantanka shares the history of the Menshia town and palace.
When Asante Hene came and thanked the Tafo chief for giving him a place, statement he made was, "But for you, Tafo Hene, I wouldn't have got a place to stay." To which Menshia Wanka, Minya Babintra, that brought about the name Menshia.
The biggest event that draws the largest crowd to Menshia are the Akwesidai and Adai Festival. Celebrated every 6 weeks on a Sunday, the Akwesidai Festival brings together the Ashanti people and others from across Ghana and the world to celebrate culture and pay homage.
We have two words put together to give us the name Akwesi there. That is Akwesi. Somebody or something named on Sunday. Adair is a sleeping place. The Adair is a special day set aside to offer prayers to the Almighty God through our ancestors. So the ancestors are believed to be our saints. They are in the spirit, so they can carry the message faster to the Almighty God than we, the ordinary human beings.
Irabna Kwe with that report, and it's time for what's trending with M&J and Jackie. I've heard that there's some opioid going around. What's going on?
The name of the opioid is Winning Red. I mean, yes, the name of it is Red. Number
red.
One trending.
Is it a red pill or something?
Yeah, it's a red pill.
Oh, okay.
And there are a lot of videos trending, flooding social media on people high on this opioid. So there's a certain hashtag to stop using red. Apparently, it's a high dosage, like double dosage of tramadol.
Hey.
Yes, and it's been trending on social media. I hope.
Why do people even take these things?
I don't know. I think we need to explore that. But then people have been talking about it, and people have been sharing their thought that we are hoping that these drugs would be banned from our communities. And away from that, so we also have Stop Galamsey trending because of the report filed by Erastus yesterday on the nature or the state of the Ankobra River. People have been using the hashtag
engaging
Stop
in that conversation.
Galamsey on social media.
Thank you so much, Jackie. And that's how we end this bulletin. I am Maame Esi Nyamekye Thompson. Up next is Pastor Mensa Otable with What God Uses.